morning. It is Wednesday, September 25th. It's about 9:30. I think it's the 88th day on trail. Well, I ended up camping. I showed you last night's video, the campground. I ended up going to that campground, the Summit Campground, Summit Lake. There was one lady there, and she said some Sobos. There was a group of young kids camped there the night before, and she said a northbounder came by yesterday. I passed him on the trail yesterday. He didn't talk. He just said hey, and so she was giving me a little info about this weather coming in. It's just rain. It's supposed to come in Friday. And so last night, man, it was cold. Probably was the coldest night. And it's just so damp. Oh my Lord, this morning my tent was soaked just like it had rained. Sleeping quilt was pretty much damp on the top all the way. I think that affected the insulation some. So when I woke up this morning, I was pretty cold. I actually put my puffy. I had to get up and go to the bathroom. Put my puffy on. But the sun came up right on the other side of the lake, so it started warming up quick. Got a late start because I decided to go ahead and just dry since I had the sun on me. It was all open. I spent an hour drying slit my quilt, my tent, so I don't have to do that later today. So it's either I got to do it in the morning or do it sometime in the afternoon. So I looked at gut hooks. Lord, this is not a good stretch for me to come right back after being in the hospital. But I have to hike today 12.5 miles before I get water. And it's a water cache. And the last entry somebody put in, this was probably a week ago, said there was 10 gallons left. So I'm just praying it's still got some water. Because then after that, it's another, I think 6.5 to a spring that's actually half mile off trail downhill, and you have to stop there. There are campground or some tent sites there. That's my goal today, is to get there, because after that, so the next day it's an 18 mile. That's the one the people were telling me about. It's an 18-mile stretch without water. That is gonna suck, and that's gonna be Friday. They're calling for rain. So I still have to figure out about this Mazama Village thing. When I get up on the mountain, the ridge coming up, I'm going to text my sister, see if she can research it and find out if that damn store is open or not. Because I looked to where I could resupply, and there's a highway 138 before Crater Lake, and you can hitch into Diamond Resort, which somebody commented you can resupply there, and it's probably the most expensive resupply on trail, which means the prices are triple, quadrupled, and I have to resupply for 7 days. So hell, that could cost $200-300 there. Oh, well, I've been hiking for a mile or so. Basically, I've just been following this lake. So I could have camped anywhere. There are campsites everywhere. But it worked out last night too, because I had a toilet and a picnic table. That was a treat. I've only seen one car in here camping. Guy had a big fire going. Could smell it. But yesterday when I got to that lake, I ended or exited the Diamond Peak Wilderness. So I don't know what this is. It looks just like it. Beautiful forest. Just been following this lake for quite a while. Well, it's 12 o'clock. I've hiked about 5 miles. Ever since the last time I talked to you, I didn't look at what I had to do today. And I was at 5,500 feet at that lake last night. And I've been climbing I got to climb up to 7,000 feet again. So I'm about a third of the way up this mountain. It's been real gradual, but uphill nonstop. So it's gonna be a long climb. And this is the mountain where I'm supposed to have a little service. So hopefully I can contact my sister so she can check on my boxes at Crater Lake. That's been on my mind. It's bugging the crap out of me. Because man, that just puts a big old kink in things if I can't get those. Well, I've got up about halfway up this mountain and got a little view. The big lake in the background is where I stayed camped last night, I believe. Pretty sure that's Summit Lake. Could be wrong. And I see some big mountain back there with some snow on it, but I'm not sure what that is. And there's a couple smaller lakes down here. Well, there's where all the water is. As I mentioned this morning, I got to hike 12.5 miles to my next water. I think I've hiked 6, so I'm about halfway there. I'm about ready to get back on the trail. Well, I'm still climbing this 7,000 foot mountain, 7,000 elevation. I'm still not at the top. It looks like I got another view coming up, but I think it's the same one as the last ridge. Yep, there's Summit Lake again. Wow, it's even closer. So I've hiked probably 7 miles, and there's the lake I camped at last night. Wow. And that must be Sisters Mountains way back there. Those ones with the snow. Yeah, that's got to be, one thing I know can be Sisters. But got a little view. Well, it's about 1:30. I'm still climbing this beast of a mountain. This is the second little opening I've had. And I just mentioned I did another little, well, you can't see it now. And I had service. So I texted my sister about my food boxes. Mazama Village, and she called the store that is open, it's called the Village Store, and they are open year round. She seems to think that's where she sent her box, but she left a message for him to call back, because I told her I had to verify that mine and hers are there. Hers is just clothing, which I don't have to have, but it's getting colder. I'd like to have it. But mine's food, and I gotta have that, of course. And I'm pretty sure I sent it to the same address, so praying that that's where they are. But I texted her back and told her I needed to verify that. Definitely, especially my box, before I get there. Because as I mentioned, if not, I'm gonna have to get off trail, which I don't want to do before Crater Lake. So that was a bit of good news. Well, I think I'm at the top of the mountain. Actually, I can see both sides. There's what I just showed you. And here's my view on the other side. Let me walk up here a little more. And there's some more. All right. It's over now. Well, I reached the top of the mountain. I checked, it was 7,200, almost even elevation. Highest I've been in quite a while. And now I'm going downhill. So, I am about 2.5 miles from a pond, which is off trail. I don't know how far it is off trail, and then another 2.5 to where supposedly there's a water cache. So, like I said this morning, the last comment I saw was back, I don't even remember the date. It seemed like it was about 10 days to 2 weeks ago. They said there's only 10 gallons left. So I don't know if I should go to the pond or not. I guess it depends on how far off trail it is. Because if that cache is empty, wow, it's another 6 miles to water. So I'll probably hit the pond, take a break, at least drink a bunch and get 1.5 liters to carry. And then if the cache has water, I'll go ahead and drink another liter and carry probably 3.5 liters, because I've got to have it to camp tonight. Because after the cache, that's 12.5 miles, and I'd like to do a couple more at least to camp tonight. Well, I just climbed to the other side of the mountain, still at 7,200 feet, and this is my view. Doubt you're going to be able to see this, but behind the tree back way there, remember yesterday I mentioned I saw a fire, and that is fire smoke, and look how much it is spread from here all the way over to here. It's all fire smoke. I'm sure it's from that fire I saw yesterday. And here is the view on the other side. So cool, I'm at 7,200 feet. Well, I got a little better view as I went up a little farther. Yeah, and that's definitely, I can see where the fire is. So I don't know if the camera's picking it up. You can see right there is the fire and all that smoke going all the way to that mountain. Man, that's not even a big fire, and look at all that smoke. Ooh, and there's the big boy right there. Well, it's about 3 o'clock. I am getting close to the pond, which is 10 miles, or 10 and a half actually. And it's taking me about, well, it's gonna take me 6 hours, which is a little slow, but I did have a 1,700 foot climb this morning. I tell you what, today has just been a beautiful day. These woods are just gorgeous. Trail is great, views have been good, and it wasn't too hard of a climb. It was very gradual. So, I mean, 1,700 feet can be, depending upon the grade, but there was only a couple parts that were steep. I'm going down. I've been going downhill now for the last 20 minutes, and man, it's just the temperature. It's just been a perfect hiking day. And I have not seen another person all day. Wow. I wanted solitude for this hike. Well, I think I got it now. As I mentioned, I think in yesterday's video, the lady that was at the campground where I was told me there was a group, sounded like 6 of them, Sobos, so they're a day ahead of me. They took off that morning that I got there that evening, so they're a day ahead of me. I don't think I met them. I think they came from behind me. Well, they had to when I was in Bend. Wow, if I just caught them, yeah, they were definitely behind me. So I was off 10.5 days in Bend. And the girl I met on top yesterday, of the mountain yesterday, that was 7,000 feet, told me when she left Crater Lake, she has passed quite a few Sobos. Well, no pond. I went by there and I could see down, it was probably about a quarter mile off trail, and it was just dry dust. There was like maybe a little tiny bunch right in the middle, some green stagnant water. Nope, gonna keep going. God, I hope that cache is still there. I just checked, it's 2.3 miles ahead. So that'll put me at 12.5 for the day. Pretty much I have not stopped. I stopped for 15 minutes to text my sister at noon and took my pack off, and that's been it. Haven't stopped other than to urinate. And I just do that with my pack on, standing up, of course. But yeah, this section is dry. Man. Lord, if that darn cache is empty, I'm gonna be screwed. Well, I'm almost to the water cache, and I just passed or cross paths with a Nobo. Girl named Serene. We ended up talking for 15 minutes, but she told me, oh, there is tons of water. She goes, I just filled up, so they must have restocked it since that last message on gut hooks. She said there was tons. So I'm almost there, and I told her about Summit Lake. She was talking about going 7 miles or 8 miles. I said, well, if you can push 2 more, you can go to Summit Lake. I said, that place was awesome, so she's gonna do that. She was awesome. She was so upbeat. She actually went through the Sierras. She knows she's not gonna finish, so she's trying to get to, at least get Oregon done. And she actually lives in Washington, so she said, I can just knock Washington out next year. But she goes, I kind of like it now. I can enjoy myself and talk to people, look around at the scenery. I said, hell, I do that every day. I said, I'm so far behind. I've known for a long time. There's no way I'm going to finish. But she did tell me some bad news, though. This front that's coming in, the bad weather Friday, it's a big cold front, and it is snow. They're talking a snowstorm, so, and the temps are dropping. And she was telling me about the store in Crater Lake, and it is closed. The campground store. Again, I don't know which one my food's at. She said she was there the day before, and they had everything in the store 60% off. Food, clothing, gear, because they were shutting down for the season. So I'm just praying my boxes are at the other store. I have no idea. So I'll find out from my sister. I told her I have to know. So she said she was going to keep calling. But anyways, it was nice talking with Serene. She was so upbeat. So I plugged my YouTube channel to her. She said she was told me who she follows and watches. So anyway, if you're watching this, Serene, nice to meet you. So I'm on my way to the water cache. It's already 4:38. So I'm gonna drink a liter, fill up 3.5 liters, And then I'm gonna keep hiking till I find somewhere to camp. Because there's, like I said, there's not any campgrounds for another 6 miles on gut hugs, but I'm sure there's something within a mile or two. Well, I was just getting water. And another Nobo came walking up, Mosey. She was probably my age, maybe a little younger. And she's doing the Pacific Crest Trail. But, so yeah, man, I'm way behind. I chatted with her for 10, 15 minutes. But she said, pretty much, yeah, on this side, it's like the other side. She said pretty much there's little camping spots everywhere. So told her I was just gonna hike 2 miles and find somewhere to camp. And she said I should be able to find something. Well, it's 7 o'clock. Here's the PCT. I am right on top of a mountain. And I'm only like, I don't know, 10 yards, 15 yards right off the trail. There's my tent. There's the big gap where the wind is whipping through. I didn't want to camp here, but I didn't have a choice. It's already 7 o'clock. And this is mile 777.5. So I actually did 14 and a half miles today. And I'm about to crawl in the tent, change clothes. I'm just going to eat some Nutella and wraps in the tent and call it a day. We'll see you tomorrow.